शर्माणं आचार्यार्थं अर्चकार्थं च त्वाम अहं वृणे उतोऽस्मि कौंडिन्य सर्वोत्तम वेंकटकृष्णसाई शर्माणं अभिनव बिंब प्रतिष्ठा अद्भुतार्थं त्वामहं वृणे. So we are requesting the Sai Shona to continue the Kumbhajakam, to do all these, to lead all the firefighting function. संरक्षणार्थं ब्रह्माणं त्वामहं वृणे. गोत्रम श्री पार्थसारथि शर्माणं श्री पार्वती समेत चंद्रशेखर प्रतिष्ठा कर्मणि ब्रह्माणं त्वाम अहं वृणे उतोऽस्मि करिष्यामः. भारद्वाज गोत्रम अनंतपद्मनाभ शर्माणं सर्व कार्य पर्यवेक्षणार्थं त्वामहं वृणे करिष्यामः. भारद्वाज गोत्रम भावचंद्र शर्माणं सागराचार्य त्वामहं वृणे. Next Vijay. కౌశిక గోత్రం ప్లీజ్ కౌశిక గోత్రం కామేశ్వర శర్మాణం ఋత్విజార్థం త్వామహం వృణే
पवित्रेण आत्मानं मुनदेशदा तेन सहस्रधारेण पावमान्यपुनन्दुमा राजात्यं पवित्रं शिराज्यामगं हिरण्मयं तेन ब्रह्मविदो वयं भूतं ब्रह्म पुरीमहे इन्द्रस्वनीति सहमा पुनादो स्वस्यावरणसमीच्या नमो राजा प्रमणाभिः पुनातुमा जातवेदा मोक्षयन्त्या पुनातु अखर्षे शिवावति पवित्रे परिषच्यते बुद्धैर्यज्ञेषु वर्धते अभोगा इदगं सर्वं विश्वाभूतान्यापप्राणावापः पशवापोन्नमापो प्रथमापस्संक्राणापो हिराणापस्वराणापश्चन्द्राकुश्यापो ज्योतिगुश्यापो निरुगुश्यापस्सत्यमापः सर्वा देवता आपो भूर्भुवस्वरापो ॐ पूर्वादिशार्पर्यन्तं ॐ गौरी सलिलानि दक्षत्येकपदी त्रिपदी सा चतुष्पदी अष्टापदी नवपदी बभूषि सहस्राक्षरापरमेभ्यो स्वाहनं सशक्ति पत्नी पुत्रपरमात्मेतं गौरीमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि विद्महे शक्तिहस्ताय धीमहि तन्नः प्रचोदयात् इदं स्वाहनं सशक्ति पत्नी पुत्रपरमात्मेतं सम्भमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन्नोतिरुत्वेदसादनम् स्थापयामि पूजयामि येन रजसा वर्तमानो निवेद्ये नमः समितारथेन देवो याति भुवनानि पश्यन्नो विद्महे महत्यधिकाय धीमहि तन्नो आदित्यः प्रचोदयात् साकं सायुधं सलाहनं सशक्ति पत्नीवत्रमयं भास्करमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शक्तिनिवतितमुनाकुमन्दो यत्र धीरा मनसा वाचमकृता अत्र सखाय सख्यानि जानते भद्रैषां लक्ष्मीर्निहिताधिवासी विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् स्वाक्षरं सायुधं सलाहनं सशक्ति पुत्रवास्मेतं लक्ष्मीमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सरस्वती वाजे निर्वाजिनीवती प्रतिपुत्रवर्वासमेतं सहस्रदीपमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि महीं देवी माधवी माधवप्रियां लक्ष्मीं प्रियसखीं देवी नमाम्यच्युतवल्लभा अनुर्धराय विद्महे सर्वसिद्धियै च धीमहि तन्नो धरः प्रचोदयात् साङ्गं सायुधं समाहं सशक्तिः पतिपुत्रपरिवारसमेतं पृथिवीमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि एकदेशनपामसो मम नाति यतो निदः दिवेदः सः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वानामेव सिन्धुन्दरितां यज्ञे दुर्गां साङ्गां साक्षात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारि धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात् साङ्गां सायुधां स्वाहानां सशक्ति पतिपुत्रवर्गासमेतां दुर्गामावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
शूरास्त्रमध्यमत्रे ओम पवञ्जलमूर्तिमावाहयामि सर्वमूर्तिमावाहयामि रुद्रं भौतमूर्तिमावाहयामि उग्रं वायुमूर्तिमावाहयामि ओम भीमाय आकाशमूर्तिमावाहयामि महादेवाय चन्द्रमूर्तिमावाहयामि ईशानाय श्रीमूर्तिमावाहयामि ओम तत्पुरुषाय
विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात् देवास्तां विश्वरूपात् पशवोदते स्थानो मन्त्रेशमो जन्दुहानाथैर्वाकस्मात्पशुष्टदैतो आय विद्महे कन्याकुमारि धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात् सायुधं समाहनं सशक्ति पतिपुत्रवर्गासमेतं
शूरास्त्रमध्यपत्रे सदाशिवमावाहयामि
स्थापयामि पूजयामि
शूरास्त्रदक्षिणपत्रे ब्रह्मादेव
देवानां पदवीं कवीनां हृदयप्राणां महेशोर्गाणां येनागद्रा नागस्पतिर्वणा नागुं सोमः पवित्रमत्ये तिरेवन्नो विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नो ब्रह्म प्रचोदयात् बाले गर्भादिनीवती श्रीरामविद्यवो आग्नेये च विद्महे पर्वये च धीमहि तन्नो वाणी प्रचोदयात् साङ्गं सायुधं समाहं सशक्ति पत्नी पुत्रपरिवारसमेतं
शूरास्य दक्षिणपत्रे
ब्रह्मावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि विचक्रमे त्रेधानदेवतं समो नमस्य वागुं सुरे नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् सखमिदं नापुन्नो यत्र धीरात्मनसा वाचमकृता अत्रासखाय सख्यानि जानते भद्रेशा लक्ष्मीर्निहिताधिवाची महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्
शूरास्त्रमपत्रे विष्णुमावाहयामि
स्थापयामि पूजयामि
शूलमूले महीं देवी
माधवीं माधवप्रियां लक्ष्मीं प्रियसखीं देवीं नमाम्यच्युतवल्लभां
मावाहयामि
स्थापयामि पूजयामि
शूरास्त्रमध्यगण्डमध्ये ओम भास्कराय विद्महे
महद्युतिकराय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्
पूजमावाहयामि
स्थापयामि पूजयामि
शूलमन्नात्रे चण्डेश्वराय विद्महे महात्याराय धीमहि
तन्नश्चण्डः प्रचोदयात् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
पूर्वदिग्गणे श्रियं लक्ष्मी
ओमराम्बिकां षष्ठीजयामिन्द्रसेने स्वाहो तां विद्यां सर्वयोनिगुं गुरुकाम्यायुषेणो कृतपयामो कृतेन
ओम दक्षिणगणे ओम हां ब्राह्मी मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां माहेश्वरी मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां कुमारी मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां वाराही मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां विष्णु मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां चामुण्डी मातृमावाहयामि ओम हां इंद्राणी मातृमावाहयामि याम्यादिचन्द्रम् ओम श्री संपूज्य ओम पश्चिमदिक्कणे चित्तवासा
वरान्येष्टा लक्ष्मी
ओम विष्णामी मावाहयामि ओम उत्तरदिक्कणे जलतवे रसे
सोमनाथी यतोजः निवेदः सरप्परगणति दुर्गाणि विश्वानामेव सिन्धुं दुरितायज्ञे
मावाहयामि पूर्वादिशापर्यन्तं ओम
स्थापयामि पूजयामि आप्यायस्व समेते विश्वरोत्तमविष्णुं भवावाजस्य संगहे चन्द्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अग्निर्मोक्षादिवक्षगत्परिपृथिव्यायम् अपागं वेदागं श्रीन्वती अङ्गारकमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि उद्बुध्यस्वाग्ने प्रजयाकृत्येण मिष्टाभूते तन्त्र्येधामहिन्द्रा पुनर्कण्डकस्ताविधं युवानमनादागं श्रीकैदत्तमेतं बुधमानवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि बृहस्पते बृहस्पतिमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शुक्रमिते अन्यचेदन्ते अन्यद्विषरूपे अहमेत्योनिवासी विश्वाहि मायावतिस्वधावो भद्राते पूजन्यहरातिरस्तु शुक्रग्रहमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शमग्निरग्निवश्चरच्छन्नस्तपदसूर्यः शनैश्चरग्रहमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि राहुगणमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि केतुगणमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
इंद्रादिशानपर्यन्तं इंद्रं
अस्माकमस्तु केवलः इन्द्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अग्निन्दोतं प्रणीमहे होतारं विश्ववेदसं असयज्ञस्य दुर्गुणम् अग्निमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि यमाय स्वामिनं धनुर्जनाय जुहताभिः यमब्रह्मयज्ञो गच्छत्यग्निदोतो अरण्यः यममावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि निरुद्धमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि वर्णमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि तव वायुमहे वायुमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अर्वन्दमाशुकं सोमो वीरङ्गर्मण्यं ददातु पालन्यं विदध्यगं तवेयं विदुश्रवणं कुबेरमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि तमीशानं जगतस्तु बृहस्पतिं धियन्त्यन्वपसे भूषाणो यथा वेदसा सद्गृहे रक्षितापायुरब्धस्वस्तये ईशानमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
पूर्वादिशानपर्यन्तं मन्त्राजमावाहयामि ॐ शिष्यादिशानमावाहयामि ॐ आशायमावाहयामि ॐ खड्गायमावाहयामि वासायमावाहयामि अंकुशायमावाहयामि पूर्वे ॐ क्षेत्रस्य
वदिनामयकं विदेव जयामि काष्ठं बोधित्वा सदामृडादिदृशे क्षेत्रपालकमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
चन्द्रपयामहे
ततो नामहङ्कृते महपञ्चग्रिनवतन्न बोधयामि दिशोऽनुरोधये भयङ्करमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
वास्तो
पदे प्रजानि यस्मान् सावेशो अनमीवो भवानः यद्देव हे प्रजलन्नोजस्वजन्न एतद्विपदे चन्द्रविष्पदे वास्तु पुरुषमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सहस्रमयं वाचाभृत्यो मध्याय हन्तवे तान्यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वान् वैजामहे मुद्यरे स्वाहा मुद्यरे स्वाहा अपवृत्तिमवक्षमवेद्यमन्ये प्रधानोऽग्नाभावाय कोशं धात्रिणम्
देवतमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि ॐ ब्रह्मा विष्णुमहेश्वरात्मकमहाशूलत्रीणोल्बणं गौरी स्कन्दगणेशसूर्यकमल वाग्भूमिदुर्गामयं शैवास्त्रं सततं नमामि स्महत् पापोपविध्वंसकम् प्रजात श्री सेवास्त्रिवदाभ्यो नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि
नवरत्नगजमहेमहिमानं समर्पयामि पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि हृदयोः अन्त्यं समर्पयामि मुखेन समर्पयामि आनन्दं कृताग्निं समर्पयामि समर्पयामि यज्ञोपवीतं समर्पयामि श्रीवरणचन्दं समर्पयामि पुष्पैः संपूजयामि ॐ भवाय देवाय नमः शर्वाय देवाय नमः ईशानाय देवाय नमः पशुपते देवाय नमः रुद्राय देवाय नमः उग्राय देवाय नमः भीमाय देवाय नमः महतो देवाय नमः अवश्य देवत्यवत्येव शतस्य देवत्यवत्येव ईयास्य देवत्यवत्येव विष्णुदेव देवत्यवत्येव रुद्रस्य देवत्यवत्येव उग्रस्य देवत्यवत्येव भीमस्य देवत्यवत्येव महतो देवत्यवत्येव धूर्वन्धोर्वदन्योस्मान् धूर्वदिनं धूर्वयं साक्षात् प्रत्ययामि धूपदीपान्तरं ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तुता शिवो पूर्णन्ददाते मधव्योदाने दे एकदा ब्रह्मण भारते एकदैव यजमानायुस्तेजो ददाति पार्वती वदये हर हर महादेव श्रीमद्रमाण गोविंदो गोविंद ब्रह्म विष्णु महेश्वरात्मदेवताभ्यो नमः सुप्रीमेण ज्ञानघट्टं समर्पयेत्
माधव प्रिया लक्ष्मी गोपी
गणाय विद्महे सर्वसिद्ध्यै च धीमहि तन्नो धरा प्रचोदयात्
तन्मज्जे ओम हां ब्रह्मणे नमः ब्रह्माणमावाहयामि ओम हां ब्रह्मणे नमः ब्रह्माणमावाहयामि पूर्वादिशापर्यन्तम् ओम हां अनन्ताय नमः ओम हां विजयाय नमः ओम हां विजयाय नमः ओम हां पुत्राय नमः ओम अप्रस्तुताय नमः ओम हां शृंगाय नमः ओम शूलिने नमः ओम महात्मने नमः ओम सकृतं गुणसंवस्त्रं दद्यालज्योतमलिं मुतमीश्वरकार्यार्थं गृहीष्यामि तवाज्ञय त्रिसंकाच्य ओम संपृथिव्यै नमः ओम पुराधीशानपर्यन्तम् ओम इन्द्रं ओम
विश्वस्परिहरामहेजनेभ्यः अस्माकमस्तु केवलः यामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अग्निलोकं वृणीमहे होतारं विश्ववेदसम् अस्य यज्ञस्य सुकृतम् अग्निमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि यमाय स्वप्नकुं सन्दयमाय जुहुताभिः यमकुम्भयज्ञो गच्छत्यग्निदूतो अरङ्गितः आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अपरानिर्दुषाणावदीत् पदेष्टतृष्णया सह आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि मे वर्णश्रुतिमध्याचमणया वाममस्याचके नमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सोमायुतस्पते त्वश्रद्धामादरद्भुता आञ्जावृणीमहे वायुमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सोमोदेनुगुं सोमो अर्वन्तमारुगुं सोमो मेरङ्गर्मण्यं ददातु स्वादन्यं विदध्यगुं सवेगं विदश्रवणं यो ददातु तस्मै स्थापयामि पूजयामि धियञ्जन्ममसेहोमहे वयं ओषाणो यथा वेदसामसद्वृते रक्षिता वायुलब्धस्वस्थये ईशानमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि
कपाला सम्बन्धो यज्ञकार्यार्थमेवहि बुद्धिकां प्रतिगुह्णामि अनुज्ञा दिव्यतां मम इति सम्प्राप्य ओम लं पृथिव्यासनाय नमः लं पृथिवी नमः लं पृथ्वीभूतये नमः ओम देव्यै नमः कृष्णपतिमहे देवीं माधवीं माधवप्रियां लक्ष्मीं प्रेषकीं भूमिं नाम्यच्युतवल्लभां
ध्यायामि आवाहयामि
खरन्दखचिरहेमसिंहासनं समर्पयामि पाद्योः पापं समर्पयामि हस्तयोः अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि देवानीं समर्पयामि स्नायामि समर्पयामि वस्त्राभं समर्पयामि श्रीकरणचन्द्रं समर्पयामि पुष्पाक्षतैः सम्पूजयामि ॐ पृथिव्यै नमः ॐ मेघन्यै नमः ॐ भूम्यै नमः ओम हरिण्ये नमः ओम पौष्णे नमः पौष्णे नमः ओम मध्ये नमः मध्ये नमः पूजां रक्षयामि धूपमाग्रापयामि चक्षुदीपं दर्शयामि
पतंगाय शिष्ये प्रत्यस्य महत्युभिः तस्य प्राणादवानत्यन्तस्य योधनात् विघ्नयस्व मा क्रुद्धः करो
सत्याय मे शीला
समुद्रवती सावित्री आनो देवी मह्यङ्गे
धरणि महोदयस्था
शृङ्गे शृङ्गे यज्ञे यज्ञे विभीषणी
यामिनी सरसजया
वायुपति जलशयनी श्रियन्धाराजा सत्यन्तो परिवेदिनी
परिदत्तङ्गाया
कृष्णवतीं महीं देवीं माधवीं माधवप्रियां
प्रियसखीं देवीं नमाम्यच्युतवल्लभा
धनुर्धरायै विद्महे सर्वसिद्धिकै धीमहि श्रोणामृतस्य गोपां पुण्यामस्य उपशृणामि वाचं महीं देवीं विष्णुवतीं प्रतीजीवेनागं हविषायमात्रेधा विष्णुर्गायो जलकरणे महीं देवं पृथिवीमन्तरिक्षं तच्छ्रवणे तिष्ठवैत्यमानाश्लोकं नियमानाय कृण्वति यो न पृथिवीभवानुविधरा निवेशने यच्छा नश्चर्म सप्रधा
प्रोक्ष हस्तेन प्रोक्ष लंबगुच्चं दत्त्वा ओम देवसत्त्वा
प्रथमे अश्विनो बाहुभ्यां भूष्महस्ताभ्यामाददे
ओम तद्विष्णुमावाहये
एवं विष्णुर्विचक्रणे वेदानिदे पदं समो नमस्यां सुरे मामावोषध्यमिता यस्मै जाहं धनामि वा विवक्षलस्वरस्माकं सर्वमस्मनातरम्
Now this is Mutsangrahanam. Mut means soil, Sangrahanam collecting soil. But collecting soil is not just digging and collecting some soil and taking there and put some seeds. There is a process for that. Prithvi, there is no life without Prithvi's permission. The moment we get up early morning every day, the first thing we do is we put our dirty feet on Prithvi. So first stepping on earth, that is our beginning of the day. And then we do a lot of things. Our Malam, Mutram, everything we send to Prithvi. She never objected, she never scolded. And if we want a house, we dig her on her heart. But still she is okay. And not only that, we are digging deep in the earth for miles in the name of mines. Then really she feels bad. That is why the earthquakes and tsunamis come. She permitted to dig her and make the houses, but we indiscriminately digging her in the name of mines. That is why she feels bad now and then, and she shows her anger. So without Prithvi we don't have life. So before digging her, we do the Prithvi Aradhana. We invoke Earth, Mother Earth into the soil. Actually we have to go to a Valmikam ant house. There we have to do the Gur Puja and then we have to dig there. But it is not possible to get an ant house Valmika here, Putta. So we get the soil and we are involving that Prithvi into the soil and then we are taking the soil from there. And there we say there is a mantra. Tvam khanami prithivim tvad shasanan muda. Prithvi, without digging you, I have no life. So I have to dig into your heart. Tvam khanami prithivim tvad shasanan muda. Your husband gave us permission, Lord Vishnu, because he is a Sthitikara. So Bhaktu Shasanan Muda, that she is happy. Okay, my husband permitted you to dig me, okay, that's fine. You can make a beautiful house, luxurious house, and you can live in the house happily. So we do the Prithvi Puja, and with her permission, now we dig the earth and we take that soil and then we put the seeds, Ankuravana.
सप्तदे अग्ने समिधः सप्तजिह्वाः सप्तर्षयः सप्तधाम प्रियाणि सप्तहोत्राः सप्तधात्वा इलन्ति सप्तयो नीरावृणस्वातेन ॐ मावोर्षत्कणिताय यस्मै जामनामः प्रवश्चस्पस्माकं सर्वमस्पनादरम् ॐ वामदेवीति पात्रं पूरयित्वा रामदेवाय नमः ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमः रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकरणाय नमः बलविकरणाय नमः बलाय नमः बलप्रमदाय नमः सर्वभूतगमनाय नमः रामदेवत्रे पात्रं पूरयित्वा वस्त्रोऽसितो
शमस्यात्तमानायां सुकृतो अस्य भगवतो दिव्यावतारसाद्वज्जान्तरहदस्य सकलभूनिरोधानुग्रहकारकः चन्द्रशेखरस्वामिनः लक्ष्मी वेङ्कटेश्वरस्वामिनः पूर्वसङ्कल्पप्रकारेण नूतनवृक्षमहोत्साङ्गत्वेन सुखाङ्गस्थम् अङ्कुरारोपणाख्यकर्म करिष्ये पवित्रेण ओम सोमो धेनुगुं सोमो अर्णधानुगुं सोमो मेरेयन्नन्नदातु आदित्यस्य सर्वस्य प्रतीशानि प्रदेशे रोहिणी गुजरात प्रस्थान मध्यमोदमानाः ओम ओम सामुद्राय नमः श्री सरसे नमः सुंसिकाय नमः संकविताय नमः सौनेत्रभ्य नमः सहनेत्रयाय नमः ओम यम रम लं वं सं शं सुरेश्वराय नमः वाक्या पावाहनस्तापर संविधान संविध धर्मकुंड अधिष्ठं राजकुंड दृश्ये मूलेन सेनं त्रामदर्शयेत् ओम मूलेन सेनं त्रामदर्शयेत् ओम हिरण्यवर्णासुते निरीक्षण निरीक्षण प्रोक्षण प्रोक्षण ताडन अभ्यक्षण चतुस्संस्कारैः संस्मृत्य शिवबीजमिति संधाय शिवबीजमिति संधाय ओषधयो देवेभ्यस्त्रेकं पुरा मन्दामिव ब्रोणामहं शतं धामानि सप्तय शतमो धामानि सहस्रमसवोरः अथाशतक्रत्वो यूयमिनुं मे अगरङ्गुरा सुतापते प्रसोमते परिणीरमानता अश्वायुपसित्परे वीरदत्पारिष्णवः ओषधीर्दिवातस्तत्तो देवे रोगवे नवीकरमश्चापयमानाः अश्वत्थेवो विशदं वर्णेवो वसति कृता योगा जयत्किला सदयत्सानवदपूरुषं यनहं मायन्निव ओषधीः हस्तादते आत्मायक्ष्मस्य पुराजी वगृभोजा यदौषधयत्सङ्गच्छन्ते ताजा समिताविव विषक्रक्षोः विषक्रक्षोः विषक्रक्षोहामि वजातनः अश्वावती कुन्दोवती मोदयन्ते योजसम् आविति सर्वा ओषधीरस्मादशेदोदये उच्छुष्मा ओषधीनां गावो गोष्ठादिवेदते नरकं सनिष्यन्ति नामात्मा अन्तःपुरुषः ओम तत्समित्यासु पूजा सर्वरेण्यं भट्टो दिवसर्वरेण्यं भट्टो दिवसरिमहि यो न प्रचोदयात् ममाद्यैर्वाक्येन पुण्यस्त्री ब्राह्मणैः संस्पृश्य
यज्ञं विहवेभ्यस्तास्य कर्मो हरिवो मेदिनन्त्वा
भूतं पंचमेति पूर्वपालिकायां भूतं आमस्मिन् सह सुगन्धपुण्डार्यामि बालिकाया
नक्षत्रे जमयेति राजा यस्मिन्नेन अभ्यसिञ्चन्त देवाः
आनो
नियत्तिशतनेभिरध्वरकं सहस्रणेभिर्वयाः यज्ञम् तस्मिन् हविषिमादयस्तयोजं पादस्वस्तिभिस्तरामः
नियत्तिलिमिषाय
ब्रह्मणावतारस्तारास्ते यमानो हविद्भिः
नमो
भागं देवेभ्यो विदधात्यायन्तु
सोमो देव
सोमो भेनमं सोमो अर्वन्तभागं सोमो भेरं कर्मण्यं ददातु तादन्यं विदध्यं सुधेयं विदश्रवणं यो ददातु तस्मै
उदुच्चं जातवेदसं
देवं माहन्तिकेतवः कृष्णाय सूर्यम्
Take it little bit more. No time yet. More. That's why the 5 or 7 only. Actually, I have to do that. Yeah. 5 or
Ambulan,
Can I have all the temple board members on the stage here, please? All the temple board members, please. Vasan garu, we need you here. All the temple board members, can I have everybody here on the stage, please?
Namaste. I want to thank every one of you for being here today. Such a great spiritual vibration. In our midst, very distinguished spiritual gurus, Bodhinath Swami from Hawaii Monastery, Senthilnath Swami, Swami Chidananda, Swami Sarvesananda from Chennai Mission. They are all blessing the occasion. We are so blessed. Their blessings mean a lot to us. And on this occasion of Kumbhabhishekam, Mahakumbhabhishekam, we have a souvenir that was published. And we take this opportunity to, and I request Bodhinath Swami to come onto the dais and unveil the souvenir. Thank you very much, Sadhguru Bodhinath Swami, for being here and unveiling this souvenir. Your encouragement from the beginning meant a lot, and your blessings we feel you are fortunate to have. And I would like to at this point invite Senthilnath Swami to come on over to the dais, Swami Chidananda to come on over to the dais, and Sarvesananji, please come on over to the dais. I would like to thank souvenir committees who worked round the clock to bring this out, and the chairman, Subramaniam Jonalgada has really worked with us, and so did all the committee members. We can't thank them enough. And this souvenir, I feel, will represent the spirit of this temple committee and the entire project. And hopefully, we would like to have your feedback on it, and thank you very much.
Okay, one picture.
Thank you. I know we we are running late, so I will be very brief in my introduction. Sadhguru Bodhanath Swami from Kawai Monastery is here. From the beginning, he has been associated with this project. He guided us through thick and thin for the last several years. He is the head of the Hindu monastery of Kawai, and he travels very widely, and he has graced the many opening ceremonies of the temples and blessed the opening of blessed many temples. And we are fortunate to have him here. And at this point, without much delay, I request him to give his pravachan. Thank you.
Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahadiyam Karavavahai Vedasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'd like to thank the trustees of the temple for inviting us to this auspicious occasion, and pay my respects to the three swamis who are here this evening. One of the certainties about a Kumbhabhishekam is that it runs over time. I've never seen a Kumbhabhishekam that finishes on schedule, but this one was pretty close. If it had actually started on time, it would have finished on time. There were some technical delays. Right? So having that in mind, my talk isn't very long, just in case. But fortunately, the Mahaprasad is afterwards, so attendance is very good. I thought I'd develop a theme I mentioned quite briefly when I spoke a few words at the groundbreaking ceremony. Well, let me interrupt. I wanted to thank one more group. I think a group in Hinduism that gets underappreciated are the fantastic priests, and maybe we could give a round of applause to the priests who worked very hard this evening. They certainly did a powerful job. So my guru, who passed on in 2001, spent about 25 years of his life, the last 25 years, helping 37 temples, mainly in the U.S., be founded. So this, of course, started in the late 1970s. Before the late 1970s, there weren't any what I call traditional Hindu temples. Temples that were built to look like temples and that were staffed with well-qualified priests from India. This started in the late 1970s, and my guru spent a lot of energy to help 37 temples get founded. And you'll find the way he did it quite interesting. If you've ever been on a temple committee, you know the hardest thing is to agree. Why is that? Well, some are from the north, some are from the south, some are Vaishnava, some are Saiva, some are devotees of Sai Baba, some are from Pramukh Swami. How do we all agree? It's very hard. So Gurudeva had a simple system. He sent most of these temples a Ganesha Murti, sometimes quite a big one, and asked them to start the worship. And what would happen? The group that wanted a cultural center would leave. The group that was interested in politics would leave. The group that was Indian but wasn't Hindu and didn't really want a Hindu temple would leave, and you'd end up with a core group of very sincere Hindus worshiping. And when he sent a Ganesha, he sent it to the homes of the trustees, and so they would pass it around. Maybe once a month it would shift homes, and once a week they would all do pujas. And Gurudeva encouraged them to do Ganesha puja because Ganesha puja doesn't require initiation. It's very harmless. So in that way, many temples came up, and we just visited one of the largest Hindu temple of Greater Chicago. Are you familiar with that one? That's in Lamont. Very big temple, Venkateshwara temple. And When they started back in the late 1970s, they had 4 children in their children's class, and I just attended an event there for the graduation of this year's class, and they had 400. Imagine that, they grew from 4 to 400 children. So they're doing excellent work there, and my guru helped them get started, because without his guidance and giving the Ganesha and encouraging the worship, it might never have manifested. So that leads to a logical question. Why did he put so much energy into 37 temples that have no relationship to our organization? You know, there's no obvious benefit. These are totally independent groups, and here we are in Hawaii helping these groups. Because he had a very strong concept that Hindu culture comes out of the Hindu temple. And specifically, he felt that if a community moved to a new country such as the U.S. and didn't build Hindu temples, within 2 or 3 generations, the culture would disappear. The children would just blend in, and in this case be American. You wouldn't be able to tell them as being culturally, devotionally Hindu at all. They would just blend in. So he felt the temple really helps the culture be sustained from generation to generation and is an indispensable part of the Hindu religion in a foreign country. So how does this work? Well, if you imagine a wheel with a hub, the hub is the temple, and on the circumference we need to imagine the families that attend regularly, not just someone who comes to a Kumbhabhishekam and never comes back, or someone who comes in once every 5 years, but families that attend weekly, or say at least monthly. We'd say they're regularly going to the temple. That temple influences the family members. That temple influences the home in a very direct way. Well, how does that happen? The basic level that it happens at is the protocols. Just even preparing for a Hindu temple, what the children have to learn. Well, they have to take a bath. They have to wear certain clothes. They have to learn to prepare an offering. All of that is built in to the preparation even before you go. And some families are very strict. They don't want to talk about business or politics on their way to the temple, so they try and put themselves into a religious mood, perhaps by playing bhajans on the audio system of the car. So the whole going to the temple starts to teach the culture. And what happens when you get to the temple? The shoes. Shoes are always a big deal. Where do we put the shoes? How do we handle the shoes? What happens when we touch the shoes? And so forth. You start with the shoes. Then you learn about pradakshina, circumambulating the temple in a certain way. Even before you go in, it's customary in many temples, not just to rush in the door, but to walk around outside and adjust yourself to the temple so you don't disturb it by coming in too quickly. Temples have a certain order. We prostrate. First we prostrate here, then we prostrate there. And then in some temples, the men and women sit on separate sides, so you have to be aware of those restrictions as well. And then during the ceremony, during a regular puja, you have to prostrate at certain times, worship at certain times, and learn all of that protocol. So this is what children learn, the preparation and the participation in the temple and all of its culture. Well, what does that do? It gives them greater respect for elders and sacred objects. I'm sure no parents or grandparents mind getting more respect. So this is important because American culture doesn't teach you to respect your elders. It teaches you that you're equal. But Hindu culture, by learning to worship the deity and acknowledge the deity as a being superior to you, teaches you to respect those who are older than you are as well. And that some objects are considered sacred. They have to be handled in a certain way. We have a deeper understanding of the importance of physical cleanliness and purity, which encourages children to bathe more, to be more precise in wearing clean clothes on a regular basis. And a better understanding of the need to give before expecting to receive. One of the keys, we have a talk on 10 suggestions for attending a Hindu temple, which we're not going to give tonight. But the key suggestion is, we go to the temple and we ask for blessings. Sometimes we're asking for blessings for a very specific event in our life. We want to pass an exam. I just had a devotee write me, he's taking his medical exams for the 3rd time in Malaysia and was really hoping to pass. So he went to the temple and worshiped. So quite often we go and we ask for different things. But the proper way is to give before you ask. So you give your offering. You don't expect to get any blessings unless you've given and unless you've tried to receive the blessings. Only then should we expect to receive. So it teaches children to give before they expect to get something back. A number of years ago, I was talking to a Bharatanatyam teacher, a lady teaches in the U.S. And in Bharatanatyam, you have these different, I guess they're called rasas, is that right? The different emotions that you have to learn to depict. And she was saying her students did really well except for 2 emotions. Can you guess what they are? Humility and devotion. Devotion in the sense of love of God. They didn't know how to portray humility or devotion, meaning love of God. Why? Because they grew up in American culture. We don't teach these things in American culture, but you can learn them from the temple. So children go to the temple on a regular basis. It can deepen their humility and their devotion or love of God, which are very important qualities we all want to see in our Hindu children. This is particularly important for youth to go off to the university, because the university tends to do the opposite. It turns a fairly humble young man or woman into someone very arrogant. They were okay when they went in, but when they come out the other end, they are a know-it-all. You know, they can out-argue you, outthink you, and they know they're the smartest person in the family because they went to the university. So that's the opposite of what we want. I'll give a good example of humility. True example that happened just this year. One of the daughters of a devotee's family is applying to a number of universities. And the university she wanted to get into was Princeton. And she got accepted into Princeton, which was really a wonderful accomplishment. So she wrote me a letter. And did she say, I got into Princeton because I'm so smart? No, she wrote a letter and said, I thank you so much for your spiritual teachings that my family's been studying over these years. And, without your guidance and the blessings of the Swamis and the deities, this would have never happened. But, that's humility. When success comes, to whom do we give credit? Do we give credit to ourselves? I knew I was smart. They realized it too. Or do I give credit to the deity? Credit to the Swamis? Credit to the teachings that I've been applying in my daily life? So that's humility. And I'm watching my time. The next level, beyond qualities, is when we establish a shrine in the home. In other words, the temple isn't the end in itself. It's there, but we're also supposed to go beyond that. And a step beyond that is to establish a shrine in the home. And in India, of course, this is quite common, but in the U.S., it's not so common. But it's very important. And if you have a large enough home, it's good to make it a totally separate room, have a shrine room there. My guru explained that mystically, when you come home from this temple, and go into your shrine room, you're bringing some of the vibration, some of the sanctity back from your home into the shrine and strengthening it. So the home shrine feeds on the temple if you go to the temple and get stronger. And if we have a religious presence in the house, it uplifts family members, it tends to reduce arguments, it has a very positive effect all around. The next step is learning to do the home puja or Atmarta puja. As I'm sure most of you know, in Hinduism there's the temple puja called Pararta, it's hard to pronounce. And then we have the home puja called Atmarta. So the home puja is something that family people can learn to do. So each tradition is a little different. In our tradition, there's no requirements to do a Ganesha home puja. We believe Ganesha puja can be done by everyone, but if you want to do Shiva puja in our tradition, requires years of study and initiation. So there's two kinds of puja, that which doesn't require initiation and that which does. And generally starts with the father in the home learns to do the puja. So if you have a home shrine and then you add the increment of doing a puja there every day, it really strengthens the sanctity of the home. And what happens? It starts to feel like a temple, a mini temple. But it starts to feel like a temple. It doesn't just feel like a secular home anymore. When you come into the home, you naturally want to go into the shrine room and worship. When you leave the home, you naturally want to go there, say goodbye to the deity. We know many families who follow my guru's advice, and when they have a full meal, they serve a plate to the deity as prasadam. They serve the deity a meal. They wouldn't think of having a meal without first offering the meal to the deity. The deity is that integral to the home. There's a great quote on that from Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahaswamiji. He says, every family must perform puja to Ishvara. Those who find it convenient to do so may conduct elaborate types of puja after receiving proper initiation into them. Others need perform only a brief puja, not lasting more than 10 minutes or so. Office goers must offer at least this brief worship. The sacred bell must ring in every home. He can be that direct. Being a Shankaracharya, he can tell us all what to do. You must do puja for 10 minutes. So that shows the traditional spirit that the temple here helps the temple in the home build in a very nice way. So one related thought on the power of having a shrine in the home comes from Singapore and relates to the temple. We have a devotee family there, and the man who used to teach at the Hindu Center in Singapore used to teach the children on Sunday morning. So what he found was the families would drop the children off, go shopping, come back, and expect the teachers at the Hindu Center to have made their children better Hindus. The family's trying to delegate the whole responsibility. But it doesn't work. It works for some things. You don't have to know how to be a Carnatic singer to send your daughter to school to learn to sing. You don't have to know Bharatanatyam for the daughter to learn that. So you don't have to know Veena. You can actually delegate that. But you can't delegate Hinduism. Why is that? Because it's part of the family's routine. The parents have to be on board. The parents have to know what the teachers are teaching. In some schools, they won't enroll the children unless the parents also enroll. They take it that seriously. They feel it's a waste of time to teach children unless the parents also know what's going on. So the idea is the home shrine and the whole family focusing on it and building it based on having a temple is a wonderful way to perpetuate Hindu culture from generation to generation. So we encourage you all to come here regularly. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you very much, Swami, and that was a very nice talk, and we know more about temples now. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. And after the discourse, as I said before, we will have a culture program, a nice dance programs here, right here on the stage. And there are, every day we have cultural programs, kids really practice, work hard very well. So I want you all to enjoy this program, and then we will have the Mahaprasad. So now I invite the culture committee team member Pooja Muthusani to introduce the culture program and what the next program is going to be, and she will take over from here.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's cultural program. So our first item is by the award from the Awards Center for Performing Arts. Isha Muthusani, Jaya Sundarajan, and Ananya Venom will be performing the four shlokas, followed by Natasha Gautam in Aditalam and Hamsa Dwani. some bhajans performed by the Baldihar group.
Surya Soki Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhutananadi Sevitam Gavita Jambu Falacharu Bhakshanam Umasudam Shoka Vinashakarakam Nalami Vigneshwar Pada Pankajam Ya Kundendu Tusharaha Rakavara Ya Shubhravastravita Ya Vinavrata Saraswati Bhagavati Niyashishuja Gulapaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karashyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Guru Sudam Deva Pansacharuna Maradanam Devaki Paramarnam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshvara Guru Shakara Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tameva Mata Chapita Tameva Bandhu Shasaka Tameva Vidya Karinam Tameva Sarvam Mahaveva Deva Asatoma Sakyamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Parvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Avitvishavaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Excellent job, Kishan.
Let's give a big hand to all these kids. One more time. Great job. Nice, very nice job. All of you, you are the future of this temple, right? You have to support the temple. Yeah.
And see Disha, by end of this year, we want to have 200 students.
I want everybody in the dining area is on that side. Tomorrow's program starts at 9.